In a recent documentary released on his YouTube channel, Jiri Prochazka swims 30 meters under a frozen lake. Go check out the full documentary, links in the description.
Sakra, chci uplavat 30 metrů pod vodou prostě.
David hoře. Jiří.
Bylo to těch 30? Jo?
30.
Jo.
Fight announcements. Cody Garbrandt versus Raoni Barcelos is officially set for UFC Atlanta on June 14th. Garbrandt is looking to bounce back after a second-round submission loss to Deiveson Figueiredo this past April. Meanwhile, Barcelos enters the matchup riding a 2-fight winning streak, most recently earning a unanimous decision victory over Peyton Talbot at UFC 311. Ricky Simone versus Charles Jourdain was also added to the UFC Atlanta card. Jourdain is coming off a second-round submission win over Victor Henry. Simone is coming off a first-round KO win over Javid Basharat. Looking ahead to UFC 318 on July 19th, middleweights Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen are set to square off. Both fighters are hoping to get back in the win column. Vettori is coming off back-to-back losses, most recently dropping a unanimous decision to Roman Dolidze in March. Allen is also on a 2-fight skid, with his latest loss coming against Anthony Hernandez via unanimous decision in February. Joe Rogan argues that BJ Penn is still the lightweight GOAT, even above Khabib Nurmagomedov, despite BJ losing 9 out of his last 11 fights in the UFC, with one of those being a draw. Joe says BJ in his prime could take on anybody. He went on to say when BJ Penn was in his prime, when he was training with Marv Marinovich, and Marv Marinovich had very unorthodox training methods where it was all plyometrics, explosive drills, sprints, box jumps, all this crazy stuff. And he believed, I hope I'm not quoting him incorrectly, but he believed fight training was of secondary importance when you're in camp. And really what was important is to just have a f***ing insane gas tank. BJ Penn knows how to fight. He's a world champion. He's not going to forget how to fight. But you can get him training this way, where you have this gas tank that's just insane. And when BJ Penn was training with him, he was unstoppable. I always say this. People talk about Khabib being the greatest lightweight of all time, and maybe he is. It's very possible he is. But I would put the BJ Penn that fought Joe Daddy Stevenson, the BJ Penn that fought Sean Strickland, the BJ Penn that was in that peak when he was training. I would put him against anybody. When he fought Diego Sanchez, he couldn't be stopped. And if you got him to the ground, his f***ing submission game was insane. He was insane off his back. He would take your back, you were dead. He would knock you out standing up. His kickboxing was elite. On how Khabib would approach a fight with BJ Penn, Joe continued take him down for sure. He'd probably fight him the same way George St. Pierre did. But the difference in size between BJ Penn and George St. Pierre was pretty significant. BJ Penn is really a 155-pound guy, who actually later in his career fought 145. Later, when he was kind of at the end of his career. But George is way bigger. George was a big 170, big muscular 170 with great wrestling, nasty ground and pound, and a black belt in jiu-jitsu himself, and also a really good striker. There was also accusations of greasing because George was very slippery in that fight. If you were a grappler and the other person can't get a hold of him, especially if you're a guy like BJ who fights so well off his back. BJ's legs were like arms, where he could be sitting there without using his hands, and he could put his feet in the lotus position. So completely crossed and lock his legs in the lotus position without using his hands at all. Crazy flexibility and dexterity, so if you were trapped in his guard, you were f***ed. Merab Dvalishvili finally got his chance to fight a gorilla.
One gorilla? It's easy, bro. I'm smart, I'm strong. You think I cannot take one gorilla?
Wait, before we get out of here, we got a special guest appearance. Where's the champ at? Champ! We gotta come on! Oh yeah!
Jack Della Maddalena has always thought he could beat Belal Muhammad. Ahead of their fight this weekend, JDM says he's confident he can stop Belal's takedowns and finish him before the final bell to become the new UFC welterweight champion.
Yeah, super excited. It seems pretty similar to a normal fight week. Obviously a lot on the line, but yeah, feeling good. Yeah, I feel like a better martial artist since last time, so excited to go out there and put it on the line. Yeah, I've just been trying to think of it as just another fight. I've always thought I could beat Belal. Obviously the title's on the line, but yeah, I guess beating Belal is my goal, and then the title will come after that. But it seems much the same as usual fight week. Yeah, he's obviously a good winner. He's got a good resume, beating some good guys. He comes forward, you know, he'll keep coming forward, put the pressure on, shooting takedowns. He doesn't stop until the final bell, so yeah, we obviously know what we're in for, but I believe I've got the skills to take him out. Try not to be too calm. Obviously he's going to be coming forward, so I want to try and meet him in there and meet the fire with the fire and try and take him out of there before the final bell. I expect him to come forward, but I think I'll be able to. He's going to have to walk through the fire to try and take me down. I think I can do some good damage. I think I can sting him. I think I can take him out before the final bell.
Belal Muhammad has responded to Colby Covington hiding his food at the UFC PI.
We took Bilal's food and we hid it in the back corner so we would never be able to see it, dude.
Guys, we just saw Bilal's meal in here, so we're gonna hide it from you so they can't find it. Belal, your food is not gonna be here.
No one's finding that.
I don't know. Anybody gonna find that? Belal? Sorry, Belal, you're a fucking bum. That's what happens to bums.
It's probably still there. He ain't smart enough to look around that fridge. Nope. Dumber than a box of rocks.
Belal responded to Colby saying he hid my food. I'm not even in Vegas. That's how much of a moron he is. I don't know what he's doing. These guys are like YouTubers now. Kamaru's a podcaster. Colby's a YouTuber. They need to do a podcast together. The Biggest Losers. Gilbert Burns believes Bo Nickal was rushed too soon into fighting a high-level fighter like Reiner de Ridder. He says he doesn't think Bo is done. However, at the moment, he just lacks experience.
They expecting people trashing him so bad, bro. But this level to this guy was 19-2 coming to this fight. 2 divisions, 1 FC, one championship champion. Yeah. This guy is the highest level in the grappling. And when we talk about grappling, that guy's huge for 185 and long, and for sure will be a hard fight for Bo Nickal because his striking is not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's better than Bo Nickal. So what was Bo Nickal option? Taking him down and then grapple. So it was honestly, I think it was a very bad matchup for Bo Nickal since the beginning, but people were just kind of buying the hype in better. But I said, bro, this guy's gonna get finished.
I couldn't believe
that guy's good, bro.
when I saw that. But you know what? The key thing that he did to win was his gameplay. I did not expect his gameplay. He did not respect the Bo Nickal credentials of wrestling. Zero.
No, I think it's just experience. I hate when people kill the guy. Why one loss and they kill the guy? The guy's done. He never gonna. No, I think Bo Nickal just need to get the experience, and especially nowadays. To be honest, I was just talking with Michael Johnson. You know what we were talking? Because nowadays, let's say Bo Nickal, how long has he been doing MMA? Maybe 2 years?
That's it, yeah.
2 years, right? I remember when I was on my third year, Moicano might be the same. When I was my second year, bro, I had so many wars at the gym, like wars. I was just talking to Michael Johnson today that we had so many fights. Me and Michael, we spot over 100 times hard, like a fight.
100%.
Especially at the Black Zillions time, passing Black Zillions when we went to Combat Club, we Usman to a fight, not a round, but I don't know, I'm not sure. That Bo Nickal had those fights already at the gym, those rounds that the guy tried to really knock you out, you had to survive. So I don't know, but I don't think he's done. I just think it's the level of experience. You need to get through those rounds. I just think they fast track him too much. He was 7-0, ranked, fighting freaking the Ridder, 2 division champions, other organization.
Belal Muhammad's mentality has not changed since winning the welterweight title, and says that he's still fighting with the mindset of a contender chasing the belt. Belal says he plans to stand with Jack Della Maddalena and prove that he's the best boxer in the welterweight division.
Being your first title defense, a lot more interviews, but for myself, right, I just got to keep reminding myself, we're still fighting for the belt. We're still chasing the belt. I'm not defending it. I'm still that challenger. I got to have that challenger's mindset, and we're never satisfied. We want to be the best, and to be the best, we got to keep winning our next fight. For me, it's just knowing that I was in his place last fight. I was the challenger. I was the guy that I had my first moment to fight for the belt. So I know what he's thinking. I know what he's feeling. But the thing that he doesn't realize is he's fighting a champion that has that same mindset. I'm still that guy that wants what he has. He has 17 fight winning streak. I want that win streak. I want to take that from him. And that mindset's going to get me to keep winning and keep me hungry. Oh, that's all confidence. I train with the best guys in the world. And I've said it a million times, right? The guy that I'm sparring with all the time is like Nacio Balmendez, who I think is the best striker in the world. And there's nothing that Jack's going to throw at me that's going to be surprising. There's nothing he's going to throw at me that's going to hurt me more than I get hurt by this kid. So it's easy when I fight these other guys, when I see these other guys in front of me, right? They said Leon was the best striker. And I said, no, he's not. It was easy when I went in there. This fight, they said he's the best boxer. I'm going to show you guys why it's easy, why they call me Canelo Hands, why I'm the best boxer in the welterweight division.
Jose Aldo is set to face Aiemann Zahabi this weekend at UFC 315. Ahead of the fight, Aldo reflects on his recent unanimous decision loss to Mario Bautista at UFC 307. For those of you who didn't watch that fight, you didn't miss much. Bautista held Aldo up against the cage for practically the entire fight. Aldo says he felt angry after the fight and couldn't even look at himself. He thinks he is the better fighter and believes he still has what it takes to become UFC champion. Aldo said, I focused on myself. I focused on my skills, on what I have to do best. The shit I did on that last fight was so f***ing shitty, and I can't do that anymore. What everybody expects when they see Aldo fight are big fights, to go in there and do my best, and that didn't happen. It was a shitty fight. I was pissed at myself. I felt really bad. Not only about the fight, but I know I can do more. I'll let take anything away from an opponent or anything like that, but I know me. I'm stronger. I'm more skilled than Mario. And I can't be like a retarded on the cage, accepting him do all that. I felt bad, man. I couldn't even look at myself and talk about fights after what I did in that fight. I know fans were pissed. The UFC, everybody. I'm really well paid to do my job. Regardless of wins or losses, you have to do your job well done. I realized what I had to do in order to get better for this fight. I have to focus on myself like I've always done. There was no study back then, no f***ing internet like nowadays. Your opponent does this and does that. I expected him to do something and nothing f***ing happened. And the referee wouldn't separate that shit either. And it was a f***ing ugly fight and I was so pissed. Get in there and fight. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. But go out there and do your job you're paid to do. For me to become champion, if it's a big name or not, I have to go there with my skills and walk through them. Martinez was a great fight. Some expected him to walk through me because of my layoff, and I did a great fight. Other things happened in the Mario fight, and it was that shit. For everything I am, I have to do a lot better. I have to go in there and knock him out. He had no skills, no heavy hands, nothing. I saw the strikes coming and was playing around and didn't fight. I can't accept that. I don't blame the UFC either. I'm like wine. The older I am, the better I get. The more explosive, more experienced, faster. And that's why I have to go in there and not choose opponents and say I want a big name or fight an ugly fight like two fat retired fighters that get punched once and go down. Not with me. Aldo took a little shot at Merab here. He continued, if I'm at the highest level and I have what it takes to become champion, where even the champion is afraid to fight because he knows it was a tough fight and was helped by the judges. Everybody knows what I'm capable of, and I know that because I see that in training, beating the crap out of younger fighters. I have to go in there and not fight like a Robert Whittaker wants to return in July and is eyeing a matchup with Sean Strickland. In an interview with Main Event TV, Rob said, I've been in conversations with the UFC since the beginning of the year trying to pick a date. I wanted late June. The UFC is really fluid at the moment. There are a lot of cards getting pushed around, a lot of fights getting moved around. Honestly, they just haven't locked me in for anything just yet. I think the end of June is a bit too soon now. They threw names at me. I said yes to every one of them. I wanted to fight Sean Strickland because I thought it made sense. I'm in that trajectory of heading back to the title, most likely looking for July. Yesterday, we reported on the post on Alex Bejeda's X account, stating that he was unhappy with the UFC and contemplating retirement. It read, I always answered the UFC's calls, but if they want to play with me, we can do that. I've never spoken poorly of the UFC, but with what I've just heard, I'm disheartened. I've already had thoughts of not fighting anymore, and after what was just relayed to me, this may be the start. Right after we posted our video, Alex claimed that his X account was hacked.
Bom, pessoal, pô, recebi aqui monte de mensagem aqui da galera falando aqui que viu mensagem do meu Twitter e, pô, eu nem sabia que tinha sido hackeado porque faz tempo que eu não posto nada, vocês veem aí, mas foi hackeado e eu vou estar resolvendo aqui e, pô, eu nem sei o que tá acontecendo aí, tem uma relação muito boa com a UFC sempre e, pô, as pessoas gostam de, sei lá, de ver o mal. Então é isso, chama.
Magomed Ankalaev responded to Alex. He wrote, "It was me. I hacked his account. Don't worry, Alex. I'm waiting for you." He continued, "The only thing was hacked, it's Alex's brain. He's not a champion anymore. I'm waiting for you. Don't worry." Now, many people in the MMA community do not think that Alex is telling the truth, and either him or his manager did in fact post that. To read off the top posts on X, so a hacker got into Alex Pereira's Twitter, posted one tweet that he's frustrated with the UFC, and then peacefully logged out. The person who hacked Alex Pereira. Pereira's quote-unquote hacker looking at himself in the mirror. Anyone who actually believes bro is hacked is on the spectrum. Yeah, not buying it. It was bro who posted that. Reminds me of the Dustin Poirier stint where he said the fight was off, then retraced. Just think about the Benoit Saint Denis and Dustin Poirier negotiations, when Dustin said the fight isn't signed yet. I don't believe the story of his account being hacked. He is lying. And yeah, 100% he wasn't hacked. I reckon the UFC just called him and made amends. What do you guys think? Do you think Alex was hacked or not? Post your opinions in the comments. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Blaze Gara. It says, "If there was any champion that deserved an immediate rematch, Alex was the guy. His activity and the amount of times he stepped up and saved shows. He deserves that respect from the UFC." The second one's from MMA for Life. It says, "Even if Alex retired, he would still be a legend because of what he's accomplished in the short time he's been in the UFC." And the final one says, "This is the worst UFC year ever." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.